Hey everybody, my name is Sean Glassberg and I'm here with Chris Williams today, and we are going to learn about the Horry-Georgetown Technical College Library Services for Faculty. And before we get to the content of our lesson today, we should introduce ourselves. This is Chris Williams, and I'll let him take it from here.
Hi everyone, I'm the reference librarian at the Conway Campus Library. I provide reference services for students as well as faculty. I teach library workshops where we orient students to the various resources and services that the library has available to them.
Thank you, Chris. My name is Sean Glassberg. I am Director of Faculty Development, and I do teach English as well. Chris and I go way back. Chris, when did you start working here?
In 2001.
2001. So we go back a solid 10 years, and Chris is very helpful, and hopefully you'll see how helpful he is in our webinar today. We do have an agenda. It's important to review this before we actually get into the content of the webinar today. We'll be going over workshops and the types of workshops that the library offers, how you can schedule workshops, especially to help your students in the research process. When I bring up research, you'll learn how to do your own research and how to have the library assist you with your research projects, especially as they relate to students. But I'm sure, Chris, you've helped folks in the past with their own research projects.
Indeed.
We're also going to talk about how these workshops can be assessed, how your students can be assessed, as well as how you can deliver some suggestions to Chris or the faculty or the staff in the Horry-Georgetown Technical College library system. Maybe some suggestions as to what you'd like to have ordered, or what you'd like to see in regards to databases added, how we can borrow from other libraries in our own library using Pascal Delivers and Interlibrary Loan. You'll learn about that as well. You'll also learn about the availability of some of these databases and more. So with that said, I'm going to go back to Chris, and he's going to basically start the workshop by answering the first question I have for him is, does the library have an online page for faculty?
We do have one. The easiest way, if you wouldn't mind bringing up the college website, Sean, I will show how you can get first to the library website from the college homepage.
Okay. I'll go to the college homepage.
Probably the easiest way to access the library website is through quick links in the upper right-hand corner. We're alphabetically about 3/4 of the way down.
Okay. I'm there. Click on library.
And when that loads up, that's going to load up the library's homepage.
Okay.
To answer the first question of where does the library have an online presence for faculty, if you look in the, scroll down a tiny bit if you would, Sean, under services, that gray box down towards the bottom, faculty services, that's where we're going to start.
Okay, I'll click on that. Great.
And what this is, it's a library guide that we have created, and we're going to talk more about library guides in a few moments, but a library guide where faculty can find the services and resources that we have available specifically to them. Now, we're going to mention and look at some of the first tabs that are running along the top of the screen in just a moment. I'm actually going to jump ahead to the last one in that first column, the copyright compliance tab, because that's one of the questions that we get quite often from faculty as far as they have questions about copyright and what they can give to the library. So if any faculty member is interested in knowing more about copyright, they are welcome to click on that tab that Sean has just done there and find out more about copyright.
Okay.
And you can go ahead and X that one out, Sean, and we'll go back to the screen. You had mentioned library databases. The first tab in the second column, second row there, excuse me, if you wouldn't mind clicking on database trials, I should say. There you go. that is where any time that the library has a trial going on for a new database, it may be a database in your subject area that you're teaching, if we are trialing that database and considering it for purchase, you can not only access the trial through this page, but you can also send us your thoughts as far as whether or not that is something that the library should consider purchasing for its online collection.
Okay.
And then last but not least on this page, the Get Help tab right beside the current tab we're looking at, if you would click on that. This is where faculty can receive assistance from the library. There are many avenues through which faculty can receive assistance, obviously coming to the library. They can call us, they can text us, they can email us, they can go in our chat room and speak with a library staff member that way. So there are numerous ways that faculty do need assistance through the library that we are more than happy to help you out with whatever it is that you happen to be looking for.
Okay. That's great. I had no idea actually that this was available, this chat right here. So who's manning the chat room for the library?
For the most part, it is our librarians on the Grand Strand and the Georgetown campuses.
Okay.
But we have kind of a floating schedule to make sure that someone's always available to answer the questions of not only faculty, but also these services are available to students. So we do encourage faculty to promote these services to their students. When a student says, "Oh, I couldn't get help from the library," there's many ways to get assistance.
And they basically have the same screen. Even though this is faculty staff resources, they can access the same screen.
That's correct.
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question about workshops. Obviously, I teach English, and so we've done workshops together. But typically, when I want a workshop, I email you, but I have a feeling there's probably another way to do that. How do I know you offer workshops, so how do I find out what workshops are offered?
That's a great question. If you would, before I answer that, if you would click on that first tab, the Resources for Teaching tab.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No problem at all. There is, I will say that we don't have a set-in-stone method for requesting a library workshop.
Mm-hmm.
Faculty are welcome to email us. Mm-hmm. They're welcome to come in the library. They're welcome to call us, whatever is most convenient for them. But we do offer these workshops where we will, we can either come to the classroom, or we prefer, if at all possible, especially on the Grand Strand and the Conway campuses, because we have dedicated classrooms within the library, we like when the faculty member brings the class to the library, and we will introduce the students to the various services and resources that we have available to them for that class, and we can even focus it on a specific assignment that the faculty member may have the students conducting, where the students are required to conduct research.
That's great. That's great.
There is a link there on that screen that we're looking at where it's the word online in blue letters, bold blue letters, in that first box where faculty can click on that link, and it does bring up a form. If they are interested in requesting their workshop this way, they are welcome to do so, but like I said, calling, coming in,
email.
We welcome any method. Email, absolutely.
Okay.
We welcome any of those methods. I will say, though, as it says there, we do ask that faculty give us a week's notice minimum because we do have to prepare for the workshop, and we, number one, we're many times booked and can't schedule a class last minute, and number two, we like to have that time to prepare to deliver the best possible workshop for students.
That's great. Thank you so much for reminding me of that as well. That's great. Well,
Sure.
Obviously the workshops you offer are customized, it seems like, and I know that, of course, when we've worked together in the past, they definitely have been customized. Did you want to talk more about other workshops, or do you want me to ask the next question, which is about the LibGuide?
Please go ahead and ask away.
All right. Well, we've worked together in the past. You have created LibGuides for me. I don't think our new faculty members and many adjunct faculty members, they might not know that it's even available. So how is this done? And can you design a research site specifically, for this class? I know that's true, but, obviously the answer is yes. So what do we need to do to get that done?
It's a great question. We, as you just mentioned, anytime we speak to a class, we design a LibGuide. Some staff members say library guide, some say LibGuide. And Sean has done a wonderful job of just clicking on the home screen for all of the library's LibGuides. We have over 100 of them right now, where we use those guides to basically guide us through the workshops that we teach for faculty. They have all of the resources that would be helpful to the students in that class as they are conducting their research. I'll show you one for example. If you wouldn't mind clicking over on the far left-hand side, Sean, there's an alphabetical listing. If you would click on History. And let's go into maybe History 201 for Professor Yohe. Here's an example, and it may look familiar because it's very much like that faculty page that we were looking at, where you can see all of the best resources for this specific assignment. In this case, it's an assignment in History 201 that requires research. We've broken it down by the print books we have available, those tabs along the top of the screen. That will help them access those. Our e-books, electronic books, databases for accessing scholarly magazines, journals, newspapers, things along those lines. We'll talk more about that in a moment. The multimedia, accessing films electronically, help with citing their sources. That tab is available as well. And then, as we mentioned earlier, with the assistance that students can receive, that Get Help tab looks just like the one that's on the faculty page we were looking at. So as I said, students have a way of getting in contact and receiving assistance from the library.
Great. That's awesome. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that is one of the reasons why we do ask for that week's notice from faculty, because it gives us time to develop that particular LibGuide for their class.
Yeah, I'm looking at all the English ones as well, and here's the one we did last year.
That's right.
Actually, you updated it recently, and yeah, I think that they're great. I think folks need to know that these are customized. For instance, here in English 102, I just want to show folks that are watching this, these LibGuides that are created by the staff in our libraries are done so in a way that what they give us under the databases and any books that are suggested are done in response to a specific assignment. So, for instance, you might see that there's right here on the right side, Black Pride and Culture books. The assignment here, or one of the questions that the students had in my literature class, was to examine how Black Pride is shown in a couple of different poems and short stories and plays. And so what the library folks did over there, Chris Williams, or Jennifer Williams, I know, also works on it. They put together some links here that the students can use just for this topic. It really does help a lot. I appreciate you sharing that with us in this webinar.
Absolutely.
Now, you've got these workshops. Does the library assess how much the students learn in these workshops?
We do. It's something that we are heavily promoting this semester, that we are asking faculty for volunteers from faculty. We have had some takers thus far who would be willing to set aside an extra, let's say, 7 to 10 minutes in their workshop where we would deliver a pre- and post-assessment of the knowledge that the students have of library services and resources. The way it works is we have a clicker system, an electronic clicker system, where every student gets a remote control and they answer 10 questions on a pre-test before the workshop in which we can gauge how much they know about the library. And then following the workshop, we give them the exact same 10-question assessment, and they answer again using their remote control clickers, and we can then measure how much they learned in the workshop using the results from that pre- and post-assessment.
Yeah, that's great. I think that that's something that when people do ask you for a workshop and they schedule one, you might want to remind them that that's offered and that it will take, an amount of time that they need to be aware of. So I think that's great.
4 or 5 minutes to do each one, the pre and then the post. So you figure it's just no more than 10 minutes extra in the class period.
Okay, great. Now, what can I do if I want to suggest titles for the library to purchase?
You can, if you would click back on the faculty services link that we originally started with at the beginning. Terrific. On the far right-hand side of that particular page where it says Request Materials, there is a link that you can click on where it says Online, where any resources that faculty would like to see the library purchase, you can make a recommendation using this form right here.
Okay. Do you have to, let's say let's say you don't know the ISBN number, is that bad, or?
Basically provide us with as much possible information as you can. If it's not enough, we can get in contact with you and make sure, but usually as long as we get a fair bit of that information, it'll be enough for us to find the particular item.
Okay, great. Now, if I've got items that I know that the library possesses already, how do I put them on reserve for student use?
What you can do, again, if you would go back to that faculty page that we were looking at, Sean, under course reserves, exactly, if you would click on that, you can give items that you own, be it a book or a DVD, something like that, that you want every student in the class to have access to. You can bring that item to the library and we can put that item on reserve, which means it's cataloged into our collection, but it's kept behind our circulation desks, and students must ask for it when they come in the library and use it only in the library. Either watch the video in the library, use the book and photocopy it in the library. They can't leave the library with that item.
Right.
The thing that is a big request of students is textbooks for their class. So we do ask if faculty have an extra textbook or they want to request an extra desk copy of their request or of their textbook, they can use the form that Sean has clicked on the website that we're looking at now and request an extra copy from the publisher and then give that copy to the library so that we can put it on reserve, and then every student in the class will have access to that resource.
Great. Thanks so much for pointing that out. So in this sense, you all handle the request from the publisher?
No, actually we ask that's a form that we give to faculty to send off
to give, okay,
or physically mail to their the publisher of their textbook.
Okay, or yeah, you can also email too.
Correct. That PDF at the very bottom of the screen, reserve request form. If you are bringing something to the library, you can save yourself a little bit of time and fill that out beforehand when you give us the book or the video or whatever it may be.
Great. Thanks so much for explaining that. That was clear some things up for me as well.
Certainly.
Now, if I wanted to borrow material from another library, I've heard of Pascal Delivers and interlibrary loan. So, how would I do that? And typically in the past, I've essentially sent an email and done that. But there's got to be some way to do it online, I'm expecting.
There is. If you would click on the second tab there, the professional development resources, like I said, there's a lot on this faculty page. You can see in that center box there are links to Pascal Delivers and interlibrary loan. Pascal Delivers, we'll mention first, that is the service where you can borrow books from almost all of the other colleges and universities in South Carolina. It's a free service. You search this catalog that Sean has brought up on the screen right here, and when you find an item that's owned at one of the other libraries in the state, you can request it free of charge simply by clicking on, there's a button that says Place Request. You enter in your information and the request is processed, and the book arrives in about a week depending upon the speed of the lending library who's sending the book to us, and then you would have access to that book for 6 weeks at a time. This is available for both faculty and students to take advantage of.
So the place request appears, that link appears when you find the book?
After you've conducted a search.
Sure,
correct.
sure.
Right beside each title is the word place request.
Sweet. Thanks so much. And then interlibrary loan, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's exactly what I was going to mention. Interlibrary loan is when an item isn't available in our library or Pascal Delivers, that's when you can use the interlibrary loan service, where you, on the screen that's been brought up here, you can place a request for an item through interlibrary loan, and we will borrow that item from another library somewhere else in the nation. This service can take a little bit longer, usually about a week to 3 weeks for an item to arrive, depending upon, again, the speed of the lending library. And you can place your request online using this form that's up on the screen right now.
I got you. Okay, so Pascal is different in that it's its own little system. Interlibrary loan is basically filling out the information, then it goes to the library staff, and the library staff then handles that from there on out.
You've got it exactly correct. And with both service, we will alert the borrower, the faculty member, usually through phone and email when their requested item has arrived.
Okay, great. Well, I know that you offer databases, research databases. I've been here long enough to know what I like to use and know what I like to my students to use. Where can I look at the whole list of research databases?
The easiest way would be if we go to the library homepage, exactly as you're doing right now, Sean, going back through quick links and choosing library. The second tab there on the screen is the databases tab. They're arranged in two different ways, either A to Z, alphabetical listing of all of the library's databases, or by subject, which you can also access from this screen where the databases are broken down by category. And feel free to click on any one of those links there, and you'll be able to see what the screen looks like. Again, it's built into our library guide, so if you wanted to go into one of our databases, we've chosen, I think, Academic One file here, takes you right in. Bear in mind, if you do want to use the databases, or you want to tell your students to use the databases to access their scholarly journals and magazines and newspapers from off campus, an H number is required to log in and access these resources. On campus, there is no login required.
Okay, and that pops up. It automatically knows if you're off campus.
Exactly.
Okay.
Our system will detect that, and it will prompt you for your H number.
Okay. Gale databases, some more stuff here. Oh, awesome. Okay, well, let me go on to another question I have for you regarding research. When my students find their articles and something that they can use, and they want to, of course, do their citations correctly. Now, I prefer, honestly, that they know how to build their own citations, but I know that sometimes, instructors who might teach in a different discipline that don't necessarily teach the research process but assign a research project, assuming that the students who have learned about the research process, they might want to use an online citation builder. So, where can I go for that?
Again, if we return to the library's homepage, and we will again end up looking at those those tabs, I should say, at the top of the screen. The fourth tab over, Citation Tools, has a link to a product called Noodle Tools that is a citation builder. It will assist students in building their works cited page or their bibliography, depending upon the style that they will be using.
And I also like that you have on the same area here, the OWL, Online Writing Lab at Purdue, which is really, really well-known and well-regarded website for how to build citations. It's awesome.
That's correct. It is. It's one of the ones we heavily promote to students.
Well, what about ebooks? How do I get access to ebooks?
Ebooks, the easiest way to access them, if you were to scroll down a little bit on that current page that we're looking at, under Research, the gray research box, correct, there's an ebooks link there. We have several ebook providers. They're all listed on the far right-hand side of the corner, or far right-hand corner of the screen. The largest of which is EBSCO ebook collection. There's over 60,000 print books available there. Same as with the databases. If you want to access these from off campus, H number is required, but you can go in and read books on a single topic. In some of our other ebook providers, you can access encyclopedias, dictionaries, things like that.
Can I download these ebooks to my own computer?
That service is not available at the moment, but you can print out up to 60 pages out of an ebook at one time, which most people would never want to go above 60 pages anyway. You'd be probably cheaper buying the book at that point.
No doubt. No doubt. Well, great. This is pretty helpful. I had never looked at this before. Now, I know that you have Films on Demand, and I've browsed through it. Can you explain to instructors who maybe haven't seen that yet, where do I go for that?
I can. Back on the library's homepage, right under the link that we were just looking at, the ebooks link, is the link to Films on Demand, where faculty or students can access streaming videos. Over 5,000 videos are available, educational videos that can be used either as viewing in a class if you want to have another form where students, instead of listening to a lecture, maybe watch a video on a particular subject, You can maybe find something in the Films on Demand collection, or you can tell students all to view a particular film outside of class to better learn about a particular topic. And again, that link is just below the eBooks link. Under Research is Films on Demand.
Yeah.
And those can also be watched from here on campus or from off campus.
Can they be downloaded and saved or no?
They cannot. However, there is a very nice feature where within every film that you find in Films on Demand, there is a dedicated URL, a dedicated link,
Yep.
and you can embed that link into
D2L.
your class page,
Yep.
into D2L, however you would like. And if you have trouble doing that, you're more than welcome to contact the library, and we can help you out and show you how that's done.
That's awesome. Yeah, I need to start using that, especially for my English 155 communications class on interview skills. I need to get some videos out there for them, and I'll put that on my to-do list.
Sure.
Last question for you, and then we'll close our webinar. Do you offer supplemental research training for students? Like, let's say I've got a student who couldn't make the workshop. I'd like to offer them an opportunity to do that online. How does that work?
We do. We actually have a few things available to students. Number one would be under that services box on the right-hand side, Library Workshops, the very first link in the services box. That's where you're going to find the library's online tutorials, where students can learn more about the library through our online tutorials that include a quiz through which, when a student takes the quiz following the tutorial, if they score over 70% on the quiz, after, of course, we would have gone through the tutorial first.
Right.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see the first question.
Of course. If they score higher than 70%, it will give them the option to email those results to their professor, and then, so if you're looking for something supplemental to include as an assignment in a course, you could do that with our online tutorials. We do also offer workshops during the semester on, or I should say during the student engagement hours, on a variety of library services and resources. So do promote those as well to your students, that they can attend those. We do ask that faculty offer some type of incentive, maybe some extra credit points for attending one of those on-campus workshops that the library does offer.
Do you have a schedule of that, by chance?
The schedule is on the library's homepage. I believe it's also under library workshops. I could be wrong, but I thought it was. You know what? I don't see it there. I apologize, Sean,
It's
but
okay.
I do know that it is
It's available.
mailed out. Well, we email it at the beginning of every single semester to all faculty.
Okay.
Full-time and adjunct faculty receive the workshop schedule.
Okay, cool. That's great. Threw you a curve there.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Hey, well, look, thanks so much for your time, Chris. I really do appreciate it. I know that the faculty who are have viewed this probably appreciate it. I know I pick up something every time I talk to you, and you know, they'll some of these faculty might have a quiz to take after this, depending on if they're a new adjunct or brand new full-time faculty. And I really do appreciate you taking the time to share this information.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And again, that's part one. We'll have a part two at some other date and have that up for viewing on the internet. And I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks so much. Take care.